Hi there, welcome back to Finance Talks My Robot Family. In today's video, we are going to talk about financial advices for young people. So before starting this video, please like this video, and subscribe to our channel for the future updates. Unfortunately, most high schools and colleges do not require students to study personal finance. Many young adults are unaware of how to handle their finances, apply for credit, and get or stay out of debt due to a lack of basic financial education. States are beginning to address this shortcoming. By 2020, 21 states will require high school students to take a personal finance course, and 25 will require them to take an economics class. That should benefit at least a portion of the next generation. But for those who have graduated from high school, here are 8 of the most important things to know about money. Here's a list of the financial advices for young people. Let's start. What are assets and liabilities? Knowing the difference between an asset and a liability is important for any member of management, mostly because these terms are used interchangeably when putting together a company's balance sheet. Although you may not be an accountant or even in the accounting department, understanding the differences will make it much easier for you to comprehend your company's regular, day-to-day operations. Such awareness will also make you more appealing for promotion when the time comes, potentially leading to higher pay and a more glamorous title. First-level management that understands the ins and outs of business is still in demand from business owners and upper-level managers. Not just how to handle people or complete a task. Knowing as much as you can about the cash flow, vocabulary. What is an asset? Assets can be classified into 2 groups. These are referred to as current assets and stable assets, respectively. Current assets are assets that can be used now or in the future. Current assets include cash, inventory, accounts receivable, and short-term investments, to name a few. These types of assets are typically classified differently on a balance sheet than fixed assets, which are assets that cannot be quickly turned into cash like current assets. Many people, for example, consider their home to be an advantage. What is the reason for this? So they could sell it and, with reasonable certainty, recoup some of their investment. The difference between a house and cash, on the other hand, is that cash can be used to pay off debts within a year. It's as simple as writing a check, initiating a bank transfer, or handing over cash. A home, on the other hand, although it can be sold and the proceeds used to pay off debts, it is much more difficult to turn to cash on short notice. After all, you'll need to go through the motions of selling the house before you can get the money. That is why a house is classified as a fixed asset, also known as a non-liquid asset. What is a liability? A liability can be defined as any duty to compensate a person for a past or future occurrence. Payments that must be made to those who have rendered services for you that are intended to improve your company, for example, fall under the category of liabilities. In principle, if you want to be competitive, your assets must outweigh your liabilities. Alternatively, you must have the requisite cash or assets on hand to tide you over before they do. Looking at your liabilities and assets is the first step toward creating a balanced budget. In general, businesses are searching for ways to obtain more money, which translates to more cash and, in turn, more wealth. Saving income. Saving money is vital at any era, but the manner in which you can save varies dramatically from decade to decade. Since changes in your income and new expenditures impact your ability to save and may even change your incentive to do so, it's important to keep this in mind. Each change in your lifestyle necessitates new financial requirements, most significant transitional periods in your life. Saving money in your 20s and 30s varies greatly from saving money in your 20s and 30s, so here are a few money-saving tips for young adults. You're in your 20s and adapting to life in the real world. You're probably working part-time, living alone or with roommates, and paying your bills without the help of mommy and daddy. Saving probably isn't as important to you as having fun and enjoying life. You're more comfortable in life when you're in your 30s. You must prepare for your retirement well in advance, just as your parents probably sent you off to kindergarten with high hopes of preparing you for success in a future that appeared eons away. Compound interest works in such a way that the faster you start investing, the less principal you'll have to spend to get to the sum you'll need to retire. Why do you start planning for retirement in your 20s? Here's an example. You spend $100 per month in the market, averaging a positive return of 1% per month or 12% per year, compounded monthly over 40 years. Your uncle, who is the same age as you, doesn't start saving until he's 30 years old and spends $1,000 a month for 10 years, averaging 1% a month or 12% per year compounded annually. Your friend would have saved about $230,000 after 10 years. Your retirement fund would be slightly more than $1.17 million. Company-sponsored retirement accounts are especially appealing because you can contribute pre-tax dollars and employers often match a portion of your contribution, effectively giving you free money. Individual retirement plans, IRAs, have higher contribution caps than 401ks, but every employer-sponsored plan you're lucky enough to be offered is a move toward financial wellness. Don't worry if you don't have access to a business schedule. Self-employed individuals have a variety of retirement planning options. Others may open their own IRAs, which allow a fixed sum of money to be withdrawn from your savings account and directly deposited into your IRA each month. Even if it's just a small amount, it will add up to something useful in the end. You may already be married or are seriously considering it. You may already have a mortgage or be thinking about getting one. You may have already started a family or are planning to do so. You can't and shouldn't invest the same way in your 20s and 30s because your lifestyles are so drastically different. Here are some suggestions for how to save for each of these critical decades. Taking risk. Risk is an unavoidable part of existence. We come across it on a daily basis, even in the most boring tasks. Some threats are small and go unnoticed, but the possibility of things not going as expected is still present. The latter could result in a fine or, even worse, a car accident, neither of which are worth risking just to save a few minutes on your commute. Danger is synonymous with uncertainty in the investment environment. It refers to the risk that an investment will lose all of its value or will yield a lower return than anticipated. Simply put, risk is the possibility of an investment performing differently than anticipated. Often, danger isn't always a bad thing, just like in the real world. Others see potential where others see danger. Risk tolerance. Each of us is different when it comes to our ability to tolerate investment risk. Our risk tolerance is the term for this. Risk-tolerant people are those who are willing to take on more risk in exchange for a higher potential return. Risk-averse people, on the other hand, prefer better, more predictable results and don't want to take on a lot of risk. Most people fall somewhere between the two ends of the risk tolerance continuum, so determining your risk tolerance isn't an all-or-nothing proposition. Your risk tolerance is just as critical as the risk of the investment when it comes to deciding which investments better fit your risk-return expectations. It can be difficult to maintain an investment plan through difficult times if you are more risk-averse than you initially thought. Evaluating investment risk. There are various forms of risk in investing, just as there are in everyday life. Market, interest rate, and purchasing power risk are only a few examples. Risks that are specific to a business, sector, or class of investments are referred to as unsystematic risks because they can be mitigated, at least in part, by diversifying through companies, industries, and classes. Company, financial, and default risks are examples of unsystematic risks. Reducing risk. Diversification is one of the most effective and widely used methods for managing and reducing risk in an investor's portfolio. Since various types of assets react differently to market conditions, a diversified portfolio of investments spread across a variety of asset classes, e.g., cash, bonds, domestic and foreign stocks, and real estate, will expand your investment base while lowering your risk exposure to any single asset category. Some investments will rise in value and others will decrease in value in a diversified portfolio. The rises would help to balance the declines and reduce the effects of a single investment's loss. Diversification's aim is to find the right mix of different assets for your portfolio based on your investing objectives, risk tolerance, and time horizon, a method known as asset allocation. Diversification can be accomplished through a business, sector, security type, market, or investment goal. The manner in which an investor diversifies will be determined by his or her own circumstances. I just wanted to say, thank you so much for watching. If you're still watching, you're an absolute legend, and remember to smash the like button and the subscribe icon so you get the latest updates when we post the new videos. See you soon.